Yeah, hope you're having a good evening. So, I'm just going to really do a quick little video on particle systems and creating like an abstract animation using them. You can create all kind of cool stuff. So we're going to recreate this. This was done in Blender and they render it off and stuff. But we're going to create this in real time using Ventuz Particle system. So let's get started. Let's jump straight into it. It's by Ducky 3D if you do want to follow him and check it out. But let's go straight into Ventuz. Like I said, I'm going to keep it nice and short. So create a new empty scene, blank. We want an axis. You can find the axis in the world tab. We want so in the geometry tab you'll find the particle system. As well, you notice I hit spacebar and it's a shortcut to my toolbox. However, if you do want to access that, like I said, geometry particle system. So you click on the particle system and we're going to have to add modules because right now you won't see anything on the screen. So we want to say it's a grid and we want some mesh. So now you can see there's something on your screen, and what I'll do is add another axis in front of this because I want to keep this in its current position and then rotate this. Okay. And on the grid we want to say, well, we want 20 by 20, and right now these cubes are all overlapping, so we want to do space them out. So I'm going to say 18 by 18, and this will space them out nicely so they're not colliding. And on the mesh of the cube we're going to change the bevel radius to 0.1, and now we have a nice, you can see the nice grid. If you want you can increase that bevel, it's up to you. Entirely up to you how much bevel you want. Perhaps I'll go 1.5. oh no, sorry, 0.15, something like this. It's entirely up to you how much bevel you want to use or how many cubes you want to use in the grid. I mean, if you want like 250 you can do that, there's no problem. Depends on your system, but I'll do it 20 by 20 for now, just to keep it really simple. But yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, on the particle system, what we want to do is have a wave. So we want this kind to ripple on this store, and the easiest way is just to go here at texture. We place the texture between the texture module between the grid and the mesh. Okay. And we want to change the target, so you can see it's affecting the color right now. The target's affecting color and the alpha, but what we want to do is affect the position. You can do size as well if you want, but we want to just do position just for this graphic. So position, and you can see it's offset on the x-axis, so we need to change this to say y only. Now you've got min max ramps, so you can increase the max ramp here and bring that min down. And now if I change the translate x, see we get this rippling effect. Now it looks really noisy and jittery. That's only due to the texture that we're using here in the loader by default, so we're using this one. So to get a nice wavy ripple, if you click on the loader, you can load in your own texture if you want and try different ones. However, we use the liquid normal one that's pre-built in with Ventuz. You get the nice ripple effect, and of course you can move it on the y-axis as well. So you can move these both together. So what we can do is actually just get a mover, yes, and we'll take both the x and y. So if you want, and if I do 0 to 1 and turn the swing off, it's going kind of diagonally, or you could split them off. If I delete that, for example, and if I click on the translate x, click on the little squiggly line, the same way, just dash on the y, and again linear 1, and then I have control over each one. I'm going to open up the movers so you can see them in the content window, so a little bit bigger, easier to see. but now you can see the Y and the X. It's just 0 to 1. The swing is off, and then you have control over the duration. So I could say, oh well, this is 2, and this is, I don't know, 50. Yeah, you know, you can play around with the timing. Entirely up to you. 5. There you go. Okay, so let's start to light this up and build that scene. So we've already done the ripple. We've got the mesh kind of moving. Now, if you want to put a texture or material on your cube, you can. I've gone ahead and pre-downloaded substance material that you can just drag and drop in. If you go into metal or something, you can get like something like metals or whatever it is, and I'm just going to drag and drop one in. I have 2 that we can test. So I've got this metal one and this red one. I haven't really tested them, so let's see if it works. It might not work, it may work. And there we go. So we have this metal one. If I just disable this one for now, let's try this red one as well. So Control A, it makes it inactive, so it doesn't. You see, it's like a block, but it's inactive, so it's not really past. It's ignoring that. Anyway, let's try this red one. So I'm gonna drag this in. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Sometimes some of the materials. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this one doesn't look very nice. You get the idea. You can. Yeah. I mean, it works, but it's not what we want. You can go ahead and tweak the colors and all sorts. Like I think that diffuse color, for example, if you want to maybe disable that diffuse color. There we go. Maybe that's something like, you could use something like that. That might be better. So let's try that. I'll keep it like that. That's for now. I might change it later. But yeah, you get the idea. So let's scale that down. But yeah, you can see the patterns repeating. So maybe not. But it doesn't matter too much. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Right now this is all from above, so this is the main one. Perhaps I could say target. Let's just try something. 2D mapping. Let's do triplanar, model space. Let's see how that looks. World space. And say wrap. How does that look? No, so not model space. Let's do model space. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So I'll do triplanar. There we go. So it kind of breaks it up a bit. There we go. But yeah, you can play around with those materials. Of course, you don't need to use a substance material. You can, like I said, you can click on it. Click on the material. See, right now this is just inheriting from above. The material. So if we go material, right now it's inheriting what's above, which is this in front. But you can, import your own materials, your own base, specular, gloss, roughness, or you can just have a default material like this, and just put or change the color. It's entirely up to you. Anyway, let's move on. So we've got this kind of scene. Now we're gonna start positioning stuff. So let's get a camera in here. And let's move in closer. Move this down. There we go. Put like this. We can tweak this in a bit, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so I want an instance of this, so I want it above. So I'm just going to right click, say link here. You can have another particle system if you wanted, completely. I'll just have an instance of the scene, and I'll just move this up. Now I'm going to rotate this around, just not minus 180. It kind of looks different. Minus 180. It's the same, but it's not the same at the same time. I don't know, but there you go. So we've got ceiling and we've got ground. Now what we do is just add some lights in our scene. So let's do point light. I'm going to use a point light. And this point light, if you want to see the point light, turn on your non-render objects. like I said, I haven't really, you know, I might jump from things like randomly, because I just saw the video and thought, oh, let's just break this, and you can see it's not very hard. But yeah, there we go. So this is our point now. If I want, maybe I want to turn shadows on this shadow map. You can see now we've got some nice cool shadows going on as it ripples. I'll just call this my fill light. So not fill light. Move this forward, maybe closer towards the camera. But yeah, I like the look of that. Now we want another point light. This one will be, we're going to add the color value to it. We're going to connect color value to this. And you see, so I want to link the diffuse and specular. I want them to have the same color. So I'm going to say red, and I'm going to move this to the left. And if I turn them on my non-render, just so you can see, I turn it, move it to the left. Perhaps I scale it down. There we go. Move it up to the left. Okay, left side of the screen, and I'll call this red, and I'll duplicate again, and I'll call this one blue. Move this to the right, and the color value I'll just change to blue. Now on the 3D layer root of the hierarchy, we're going to change the engine to high dynamic range. Now it's going to go really dark, but we're going to just change the exposure. So play around with the exposure. You know, it'll start to, everything will start to, you know, reappear again. Play around with your mapping if you want the tone of mapping. Tidy up you. You can tweak these values and play around with the camera exposure on the, you know, or should I say the exposure of the, you know, thing. But there, I like that. It kind of looks cool. Might bring that, reset the white point. But yeah, kind of like this. I'm gonna tweak the gain on the colors, on the red and the blue, just to make it a little bit, you know, a bit more. Go. Perhaps I'll move these. There. Now you can see I don't have enough cubes on the left and right, so I can go into my particle system, just go into my grid, and maybe I'll do something like 30, and then adjust the X position, and then have a bit more going on. Well, there we go. Now the blue, I like the red's kind of strong. The blue seems a bit, you know. There we go. Just adjust the gain on that. It just seemed a little bit overpowered by that red, but yeah. And then the fill, you can kind of move around if you want. I think it's something like. I'm just playing around, apologies. Like I said, I want to keep this nice and short. Let's go on, let's move on anyway. I could be here tweaking it for a long time. Anyway, but yeah, there you go. You can see, you know, the material does have an effect on how it looks. Next, what we want to do, let's add in some smoke. So, I have right now just a texture. It's just like a cloud texture. There's no alpha channel or anything, it's just a solid JPEG download. I'm gonna drag this in into the scene, so, and I'm gonna place an axis in front of it and a rectangle. Okay, and on that texture, you know, I want to create, like, I want it to have an alpha channel, so I'm gonna just say texture alpha. And the texture loader, I want it to use the same as this. So, I believe you can just click on this, copy this URL here, and paste it into this file here. or you can just click on the loader file and then load the same texture that you've got in here. Doesn't matter. But now if I turn my bounding blocks or scale it, there you go, you can see the smoke texture. It gives us kind of like this atmosphere, smoky atmosphere. And of course we can click on the texture if we want, down to the make sure the alpha one, you can change that to from above, and then all you have to do is the base, change the UV mapping to DD, and then we can animate, say that the rotation, for example, linear 360 or whatever, it doesn't matter which direction you go. I'll pop that out so you can see the mover. If you want, you can say 360, go the other way, and you can slow it down. There you go. And you've got some kind of little smoky effects going on. Now I'm just duplicate this again, bring this forward. They've got different, they're just different space in Z, and then I'm going to push one behind, push it back, and as you can see now they're affected by the light. Now what I did forget to do before I started duplicating is I don't want this shadow, so I don't want these little clouds to cast shadows or receive them, so I'm just going to say turn off the cast and receive on these materials. So I'll do the same on this. Click on shadow options, cast and receive. I want those off. It's really up to you. If you do want it to receive shadows, you can, and I'd say don't let it pass the shadow, but it's up to you really. Totally up to you. But yeah, there you go. And of course I can scale this up or make it really small. There you go. But yeah, I mean, something like that's kind of cool. If you want, you can go here and change the opacity. I'm gonna change this to, for example, like a phone, and then go here to opacity. I can play around with that opacity too. And the specular, I don't want the specular on there, so I'll bring that down. There we go. There you go. So you can build up the textures in the environment to make it a bit more cooler. I would say play around with these materials. I'm not really happy with this material. Let's try the other one. So this other one, the metal substance. Even though I'm not happy with that too, it should be alright. Let's see. Yeah, I mean it's a bit more shinier. But yeah, that's just play around with materials. I'm not really covering materials or anything like this, creating shaders or anything. But there we go. So we've got a cool motion graphic. Now let's add the little emissive cubes. So in here he did have these emissive cubes in the middle of the screen. You can also add if you wanted fog, like I done before this. Sorry, but there's a few things we can just do, like if you want to add fog to your scene, I think fog, and turn that to like black or something, and then you can change like the end, I believe is the end. But yeah, you can have it fade out, fade in, that thickness. Yeah, it's up to you, but yeah. You can see how the fog is affecting it. But anyway, kind of going off topic, kind of. Anyway, so yeah, I mean his texture here. Right now I'm using the clouds, however, I'll just Control A. I'll duplicate this. Control A this one, and right now if I delete this. This, I'm going to texture and base with alpha, and what I'm going to do from the loader, texture loader, I'm going to use this one, the alpha glow. Right now, I'm going to control delete that. Oh no, I can't do it. But anyway, block these two. And now, scale this, and you see you can easily swap out the textures and do completely different look. But yeah, you see, you get the idea how easy it is, you know, around textures, all sorts. Anyway, I'm going off topic, but yeah, duplicate this and replace this and delete this, and then scale this back up. There we go. Push this back in Z. Anywho, one more thing. Let's try one thing. If I move this forward in Z, okay, let me just see what happens if I said no light. There we go. That's what we see. Okay, so it's quite a strong texture, isn't it? Yeah, you get the idea. So that's just not affected by the light, but it's just on top of it. It's kind of cool. Yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, so we've done that. So let's add the emissive cubes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the existing particle system. So I'm going to control drag down. So this is not linked to anything now. So this is own. This is a separate one from the wave. And I'll place this in the middle of the two. I'll just be changing the axis position of the Y. We're going to change some of the settings. So we're going to go to our grid and we're going to say 4x4. There you go. You can of course change, you can have these jitter, you know, you can move these around a bit, have them closer, you know, or further apart. It's entirely up to you what you do. The material on this, we want to change on the cube, we want to give it its own material. So instead of inherit, we want to change light model to say the foam, for example. And on the material stage, we're going to say color, and in color we're going to say target is emissive. So now we have this emissive shader that you can kind of control. However, there's no bloom right now. So if we go to our top of our tree of the hierarchy and our 3D root, we can click on bloom, turn bloom on, and then everything's going to bloom, right? So we want to change the threshold to 0, and we want to change the amount to say 0.3, 0.3, and now only the emissive material will glow and everything else will. So I mean, you can if you want have everything glow, or you know, that, and only the emissive objects will glow. It's entirely up to you. Now you have control over that material. So if I go here to these particles, this material on the emissive cubes, I can dial that up, and you can see how much it is. And then I can go back and, you know, tweak the diameter of that. Get a nice spread. But then I can say, okay, I'm gonna bring this down again. You know, it's just playing around to a look that you want, but you get the idea. I'm kind of happy with that. Kind of looking a bit smoky, you know, things, but there you go. Now you can move this camera around, you know, or you can, yeah, like I said, you've got this axis, so you can sort this, or you can move it around, or you can join the camera. There you go. Field of view, you can play around with all of these settings. This change the field of view and zoom back in. Yeah, it's kind of cool scene. But yeah, it's really up to you. You just experiment. But there are really cool tools in here that you can create motion graphics really easy. So this could be like, for example, if it was a video. You know, it's gonna be in a video. Okay, perhaps I don't want this material and I want just create a new material, for example. I'm not using a substance one. So okay, well this is kind of dark, texture, base, and I'll just load in I don't know, like a reflective reflective materials or something like this, and say UV mapping white space reflection, and set this to wrap, and change the scale. Yeah, it just looks a bit more glossy. But yeah, it's entirely up to you. You can, like I said, you can mix and match those. But yeah, really easy. Yeah, so you can either go for substance or you can do your own, create these cool textures. Hopefully that was useful. Like I said, just to show you that you can create all these kind of cool effects, motion graphics or whatever it is. You can click on those particle systems. You can try different textures. Doesn't have to be that liquid one. It could be a different one. You can load your own one. You can go for something like this stripy effect. Yeah, I mean, just try different ones. You never know what look you're gonna get. You can get really weird stuff, really cool stuff, some really fast stuff. But yeah, just from a simple texture. There you go. So these are like bigger ripples because it's like a giant circle. But yeah. Thank you again. If you can, hit that like, share, subscribe. It does help me out. Enjoy your evening. Hopefully that was useful. I didn't ramble on too much. I did do a bit of rambling and clicking random stuff and changing stuff. But yeah, you can see how flexible it is, and how many you can make different versions of that. Like right now, I'm thinking, oh, should I do a spreader on here? I should really end the video. I'll never stop adding stuff on. But yeah, you can see I can put a spreader and increase that count. That forward. Take these. There we go. I've got this kind of, it's really up to you. But yeah. Anyway, enjoy your day, morning, evening, or night. If you can hit the like, share, subscribe. Like to hit that 1K. Try and hit 1K. Thank you again. Bye bye.